Yeah. How do you think the tactics differ between when you're in your 30s and 40s as compared to now? Do you think because
Yeah.
the 55s and 60 pluses, I guess the experienced people, because it's hard to get into a sport at that point. So I guess you guys are probably tactics wise more experienced and better than anyone else.
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me first answer that by I would do younger races, especially when I was a few years younger, and then I go do the old guys, so my
Mm,
category. And what I noticed was that with the older categories, they're pretty aware that they can't go hard all the time. They can go hard when they want to go hard, but
mm.
there's a lot more conservation, and then there's a lot more hard attacking at the right times.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what makes
So
it
it's
tough.
really thinking about it and not like young guys are always kind of quickly making decisions. Shall I jump on that wheel and just trying to maybe not thinking as well as some of you guys who can I really do this?
Close, I think. I remember when I was about 45, no, 52, and I had just started a team. I was on an elite masters team back when I was younger and stronger. And now we're heading into the finish, I think. Yeah, so I'm going to switch. So now I am looking for a position. I am glad to still be there because in my previous races this season, I was dropped at this point. And
Mm.
so obviously the right thing for me to do, we have 200K to go, is to find the right wheel, but I just didn't have the legs for that. But I was pleased to get as far as I did and get to this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah.
And I can remember after the races were rolling in, I actually had it on camera, that a guy that was with me, he was behind me, he was coming up, and actually this guy on the right, 577, we're talking a little bit, and he's saying, yeah, I've been watching your videos, and I was figuring I at least have to beat the guy with the heart problems.
Went into a tough race, which is at tempo the whole time the attacks are going. It's really hard to be there in the sprint. 2 weeks ago now, I was doing a Zwift race, the Richmond course, which is absolutely pan flat, and it had some really strong guys. And the front group, I was clinging on for dear life, and I managed to just about stay there to the end, but I couldn't contest the sprint. I was definitely too tired. I was also drifting up and going down, which in that group, which really didn't help conserve energy. I mean, partially I was between gears, and partially it was probably my fault as well.
Yeah, and I'm typically not a sprinter, and so I'm actually trying to work on my sprint a little bit, but
Mm.
that's a whole nother skill set. And so
Yeah, yeah.
I try to get away. But going to the previous question, um, I had started this team, and we had three strong threes, including myself back then. Even though we were strong, we were not necessarily as strong as some of the individuals on the other teams. Our advantage was that we were pretty selfless, and we would work for each other, and
Mm.
we worked well as a team, while the others seemed to, and they were younger, and they wanted to move up to the twos and race with the pro 1-2s,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
uh, and so their motivation and their actions were therefore not team oriented. We were able to get wins, we were able to get good results, and we got that for about 2 years. In that second year, a lot of the teams started playing more team tactics, a
There are
bit
a
more
couple of
difficult.
teams I recognize here. Like I think I saw SP2, which is vegan cyclists team.
Yeah, yeah. Vegan Cyclist lives. So I'm in Central California, and he's in Central California. I am on the flatland, and he's I think toward Bass Lake or Yosemite, a couple hours away. And so
Yeah,
I often see him on some of the rides. And so when I say I see him on some of the rides, he's usually up ahead in the pack, and I'm because he's a
yeah.
strong guy, and I'm the old guy now hanging out the back, which is
Mm.
it's interesting. Things change as you get older.